What's up everybody, it's Drives from Strong Dragon Training, and I'm back with a new style of video for you guys that I'm going to start uploading now as the explanatory videos to my application. If any of you guys watching right now have ever trained with me, you would know that I use my application and I post these videos to show you exactly how to do the exercise. Now what I have done is I have just shown you the exercise, how to do it without any kind of commentary. So now I'm going to add just a little bit of explanation to it, but I'm also going to give you the advantage of going directly to the time. I'm going to post it right here below me to the exact time in the video where it shows the exercise itself. So no commentary. If you choose to skip it, you're more than welcome to it. So today we're going to go through the shoulder press, the classic seated shoulder press. I'll explain to you guys a little bit how to do it from a theory point of view, and then we're going to dive into the actual practical version. Let's check that out. Alright guys, so let's go through the whole idea, the theory of the shoulder presses. So we're not worrying about right now of military presses, behind the head shoulder presses. Those are all exercises in themselves, and when I get that, I'll explain to you why some people agree with them, why some people don't. But today we're going to go with the very simple classic dumbbell shoulder press. I'm going to do it seated, but it can be done standing as well. The one thing that I'm going to advise you guys against the standing one, if you want to see the standing one, I've already filmed that before in a very simple instructional video, and you can find the link right above over here to go directly to it. Very simple, very to the point, boom, 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 done. Today, I am going to do the seated one. I'm going to do it a little bit heavier because that is, to an extent, the advantage of doing the seated shoulder press. It'll allow you to go a little bit heavier because your lower back is a little safer. So if you've checked my video from the standing shoulder presses, you will see that when somebody, if you guys can see me over here, when you're doing the regular shoulder presses, a lot of my clientele in the past I've seen, they would tend to do this and start pressing up, and as they get more and more tired, that curve in the lower back happens more and more. Now, of course, there's ways around that, and what is not explained in that video that I've posted earlier to the standing shoulder presses is that if you wish to prevent that, if you're having a hard time getting over that, one way out of it is to have yourself seated down, as I'm going to show you guys in a couple of seconds. But the other way is to straddle your stance. Put one foot in front of the other, so kind of open your feet out, and this will allow you to give a little bit more of an extra support and tendency, or influence rather, to be able to keep your back straight and not curve. Extremely important, guys, when you're doing a shoulder press, even when you're seated down. Sometimes you look on YouTube, you look on the internet, and you see some of these power lifters and gym goers, things like that, etc., that they do these very heavy shoulder presses, and they get to the point where the back is so arched to push it up. Now, I'm not trying to judge anybody, I'm sure that from that point, that's what gets them the power to just lift the weight up. Their goal right at that point is to get the weight up and back down. But that is very dangerous for your lower back. And trust me, when it comes to the spine and the back, anything in the body is bad if you injure, but when it comes to the spine and the back, you have to be very careful on how you treat it, and you want to make sure that it's always in a safe position. So never ever do any kind of shoulder presses or any exercise, period. Don't allow your back to have this kind of a curve to it, or even, pushing in too much to be able to promote that even idea of damage. Maybe you won't end up injuring it, maybe nothing will end up happening, but you're putting yourself at a risk that is not needed. Anyways, long story short, the video is there for the standing one. Today we're going to worry about the sitting down ones. So what you're targeting over here with the shoulder press is the front part of your shoulder, the front deltoid. Now, don't fall into the idea that when you're doing just the shoulder presses rather, only the front deltoid works and that's it. All the other three heads, they die. There's three heads in your shoulder: front or anterior, mid, and back or posterior. So anytime your arm moves, doesn't matter whether it's shoulder press, whether it's front raise, lateral raise, reverse fly, doesn't matter. The deltoids activate as a union. Right? They all have to be active, and they do a certain extent of work. The only difference is when you do a shoulder press, more of an emphasis gets put on the anterior deltoid, so the front deltoid. The other ones are just there as support to keep the shoulder from snapping out of its joint and to maintain the proper movement so that you stay on the track as needed, right? Now, on top of that, of course, your triceps will activate, your pectoral will activate, major, minor, and there's all these other muscles around that are going to activate together to stabilize the shoulder and promote that movement. But as an idea, what I want you guys to focus on right now is that nothing else in your body exists muscle-wise, and all you're focusing on is the shoulder press, the deltoid, the front deltoid, the part of the muscle right over here. There we go, right here in front. That's the muscle that you're primarily targeting. Everything else around is activating to a certain extent to make the move possible. So let's go through the actual exercise and see what's happening and how the movement is correctly done. Alright guys, so we've got the bench set up over here. So I set it up already for you guys to see. It's put to the highest level possible that I'm going to need it. What you're trying to have in mind as well is when you're doing any kind of incline exercise on the bench, you have to be careful where the cutoff point is between activating the shoulders or the deltoids maximally or activating the pectorals. Because you got to remember, as you go lower with the bench, the lower you go, you start activating more and more on the chest. Remember, the incline chest presses are still there for you guys, and it's a very thin line to where you lose that upper pectoral activation to the max, and then the anterior deltoid takes over, right? So generally, just as a rule of thumb and a little bit of a tangent, when you have a 45-degree angle like I have right now on the bench, you're activating primarily the pectoral major. Again, your deltoids, your triceps, everything works in unity, so they still activate. But now in this position, the main focus is on your deltoid. I'm coming up, or rather I meant on the pectoral, my mistake. I'm coming up a little bit more. Now you're on that cutoff zone. Your body is in between. Okay, here I'm still activating pectorals at a high rate, but now your deltoids are starting to take over a little bit more. So do be careful on this one and be mindful of what you activate. Personally, even with me, I still put clients on this kind of an incline to work on their upper pectorals and get that nice separation from top all the way going to the bottom, of course in different inclines, but on the top over here. But I'm very careful with the weight, because especially if the person is not experienced when it comes to the gym and they're not sure where that cutoff point is or how to activate properly the muscles that they're looking to work in, they can easily fall into the, okay, I'm pushing everything with my deltoid. If it's a weight, that obviously the chest will be able to handle more of a weight than the deltoid. It's a bigger muscle. So I try to keep the weight a little bit lower to be on the safe side, just in case they lose that focus on the way and everything just blows to shit, and then they start activating the deltoids too much, causing an injury. Final step is when the bench is all the way to the top like this, the chest is just there, or the pectoral is just there to support and facilitate the movement. At this point, when you're here and you're pressing up together like so, the deltoid is taking over the entire movement. The rest of the muscles are just there for support. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to go a little bit further back for you guys, just so you can see the full motion. There we go. So what I'm looking at over here is when you're doing the shoulder press without any kind of weights right now, the idea is always you want to get a stretch in the muscle, and then you want to bring them up right overhead, straight up. So be careful on this one, because as much of a stretch you want to go, you don't want to go so deep to the point where you start lifting up like this. Remember, this is facilitating a heavier weight movement. So you have to be very careful on how deep you go. You don't want to get stuck there either. Yes, you want to get a stretch out of the muscle, but you gotta keep in mind that you need to keep full activation still, and that time under tension for your deltoid, for your front deltoid. So go deep, feel the stretch in the delt, but don't go so deep that now you're at the point where your back is arching in, and to get them back up, you need to start shrugging and get all these other muscles that don't even need to be active, you get them activate, okay? So I'm gonna start off over here. Generally, what happens when you have the heavier weight, especially light, heavy, whatever your level is. So I'm not encouraging right now to go with these big of a weight, smaller, bigger. You go with what weight makes sense most to you, okay? So do be very careful on this one. If you're not sure what it is, make sure you have a professional there with you to guide you through it and find the perfect weight for you. But as a point of view of the exercise over here, me, if you have seen my previous videos, I am training towards muscle mass, muscle size. So I'll be going with low repetitions, much higher weight. So through these ones over here, for demonstration purposes, throwing them up with the knees like such, I'm starting over here with the full stretch, feet are flat on the floor, and pressing up. Pressing up. Okay, so you saw how deep I went on that one, and you saw how I stayed on track going all the way to the top. Now the other thing that I was focusing on when I'm going all the way to the top is when I'm here, I'm not just pushing and that's it. You know, I'm going through the motion like this. I'm imagining that what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to touch the top of the ceiling, or the ceiling rather, with the dumbbells as I'm coming back down. So that's a little bit of a trick and a image that I try to put in the head of my clients, that to get full range of motion and get those fibers active in your shoulders, it's like you're trying to touch the ceiling in the case of the shoulder presses, okay? So just again, to give you guys a little bit of a better view, I'll show you the side version as well. There we go right here. So again, this is as inclined as my bench will go, okay? Throughout the whole movement, my feet are flat on the floor, my back is flat and rested. Whether your head is like this or it's like this, that's up to you. A lot of trainers out there will say that, no, you have to have it like this, you have to have it like this. At the end of the day, based on your muscle development and how tight your muscle is, this will work better for you, this will work better for you. It's the neck muscles at the end that are activated there. They're not going to make a difference in your movement. So, there's one. There's the other. And boom, boom. Feet flat. My back is fully flat on the bench. So does that make sense to you guys? This is the version of the seated shoulder presses. It's very important. The reason why I wanted to make another video out of it, even though I have the standing version, is this. Some people end up doing this out of the shoulder presses. Why? They get tired, they're too heavy on weight, and they still want to push out the repetitions. Be very careful with that. Just like I said in the beginning, you cannot have that kind of a risk put on your back. Maybe you'll get away once, maybe you'll get away twice, but when it happens, it'll set you back for weeks. So there you have it, guys. I don't want to prolong the video too much, but I wanted to give you guys an idea of an explanatory idea. I can't even talk. When you do shoulder presses, you forget how to talk, period. I wanted to give you an explanatory video with not just visual view. If you want a visual view, like I said in the beginning, you have the time to skip right to the exercise, see how it's done, see what I'm talking about, boom, you're done, you can go and do it yourself. But I also wanted to explain some of the dangers, what happens out there, and how it should be done correctly. What's activating, what are you looking for to activate? Because there's one thing to just go through the motion. There's another thing when you know in your head that I'm activating this. This should be less, this should be less, this should be more. It gives you a different experience in the workout. You should always be, as I said to all of my clients in the past, when you're working out, your head needs to be there. You need to understand from a scientific point of view, even if it's the basics, what's activating, how is it activating, where's the motion, what is the muscle doing, as opposed to, yeah, I'm doing it and I wonder what I'm gonna have for dinner tonight, blah, blah, blah. That's not working out. At Strong Dragon Training, we're not just looking to, okay, here's the exercise, do it, boom, bye, you're gone. We want you to understand what's happening. We want you to build your lifestyle as well so that you can get that full results, that full health and fitness out of it. Yes, there's working out. Yes, there's nutrition, but there's also a lifestyle to understand what's happening around you and to apply it. Not just in the gym, not just in the kitchen, but everywhere you go. So it's very important to wrap your mind around it, not just your body. So I hope this video made sense to you guys. I hope it was a little bit better than the ones that I had before. I'm trying to improve my channel as much as possible. So if you liked it, please like and subscribe and leave me more comments. If you think I should be doing more, if you think I should be doing less, I love to hear from you guys because I want to make this channel perfect to help as many people as possible. My name is Drive from Strong Dragon Training. Again, if you like this video, like and subscribe please, and I'll catch you on my next one.